morning to all the change makers around. Today we have a very interesting guest. She is the founder and creative director of a brand called Cancel Plans, and it's great to have her on the show. Welcome, Malika. Thank you for coming on to the Vamcast.
Thank you for having me. We've been meaning to do this for a while. I'm glad we finally got some time.
Absolutely, and I think doing it online is much more convenient than scheduling a time, place, and so that's always good. I think the positives of getting digital, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll just jump straight to it. If you can briefly tell us what Cancel Plans is, and how did the thought come about? How did it all start?
Sure. So Cancel Plans is a brand where we make products out of industrial waste. One of them is actually what I'm wearing today. It's a t-shirt made from 100% recycled cotton. So we are a sustainable fashion brand, and we work with a lot of local artisans who help us convert this waste into textiles and products. And so a lot of skilled artisans. We work with smaller communities as well. And I think like one thing that people think is that when you're making stuff out of waste, that it's trash and it's dirty and it's garbage. But actually what we do is we collect them straight from the factories. So it's quite high grade, and it's quite, it's something very small, like there's a small print mistake. So a lot of materials get rejected. So they're all actually really high grade, but it's just that they've never been used, so they get discarded. Those are the kind of materials that we work with. And so they're clean, they're very safe to handle, they're non-hazardous. We don't work with any hazardous waste. And so currently we're working with 4 factories. One of them is a pharmaceutical packaging factory. So we use the offcuts of what you see in your tablets, the packs, and we use that to weave into a textile, and then we make bags out of that. We work with a billboard printing factory. So all the rejected part, or like the part that's not printed, gets discarded. So we make bags out of those. Then we also work with a condom manufacturing plant, and they reject about 5 to 8% of every batch gets rejected because there's some holes in it and things like that. And you obviously don't want those going into the market. So we use those, and yeah, so it's really like high quality materials. It's just that they go waste because they have some minor defects, and so they kind of rejects.
Just take a couple of steps back.
Sure.
Got a good idea of what Cancel Plans is now, but what is sustainability? I think many people out there are still very confused about what sustainability really means and how they can adapt to it. So can you share something on that?
I think broadly, if I had to say something in like simple, the definition of sustainability is that creating products or an environment for future generations. And I think the way that we're consuming right now, it's looking a little bleak. So I think in a very simple way that we're creating a way that we don't want to leave a massive footprint on the earth that the future generations can't survive, where the air quality is bad, where we don't have sea life, we don't have plant life. So I think in a simple term, we're making adjustments to our lifestyles now so that future generations can prosper. And so sustainability, I think, will be more kind of avoiding excessively polluting industries, treating people fairly, giving them fair wages, keeping the environment into consideration when you're making your purchases or processes and systems. And actually, you know quite a bit about sustainability as well. This is something that I think you can also tell us a little bit more about from more of a larger scale impact, I think.
So I think another point just to add to what you said, which was interesting, was you said that you go to you get the jobs done by many people out there who actually are in need of such jobs as well. So I think that also can be put in sustainability in the sense not just the environment, but also creating an ecosystem that helps other dependents on that. So how did that thought come about? Did you have that started from the beginning, or?
Honestly, I think a little bit of experimenting. See, I think also one of the side effects and things about like when you get into manufacturing, especially in India, nobody wants to manufacture small batches. They want thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces. They're only these small artisans who are skilled to be able to do these by hand, and they don't want to do quantities of thousands and thousands. So I think it makes the pieces special because it's like handmade. And it was a bit of both. We wanted to work with the artisans because they do need livelihoods, and they do need like there are a lot of crafts that are just dying out, and these are the last people in their family lines who know it. So I think it also makes the products a bit more special. And also I didn't want to be kind of in a mass factory just creating without knowing for sure whether people want it or not. I don't want like order 1,000 bags and be like, I don't know if people want it, I don't know if people use it. So I think both from a business point of view as well as from a personal conscious point of view, I wanted to work with artisans.
Very interesting. How does the whole creativity angle come into the picture? How do you create? How do you get inspired? What goes on there?
I think inspiration is everywhere, like anything and everything. I think there's also like a lot of design systems within nature that kind of inspire, and there's also like just the world around you. I think for me, the first thought is when I see something like anything, like a box or a plate or a shoe or something, I'll be like, wait, can we make this with a completely different material that comes from waste? So that's kind of where the thought process starts. And then we do a lot of experiments. Like I love to experiment. I like to try things out, put things together, pull them apart, and then finally come to what's working. So we start with a very broad blank canvas and then just go from there.
Very interesting. And how about the life of the products, like compared to traditional products?
So that was one thing that I was very clear from the beginning, is that if we are making these products out of alternate materials, they need to perform like conventional materials. Otherwise, I mean, I don't want someone to buy this because it's sustainable, because they'll come once, but I want them to buy it because they desire it and they want it regardless. So I think the performance for me has to be as important as a conventional material as an alternate material. So we really try to make them durable. We do use a few conventional materials to give it that strength and stability. There's some products that are 100% made from waste. There are some which are 80%, some which are 50%. So it really depends on the product. But for me, it was like, I need this product to have the same, if not longer lifespan than its counterparts.
How interesting. And what about the whole market angle, right? Like, how's the entire marketing been for you? I know you're doing great in terms of marketing. I've seen the brand shoot up. I mean, it's a new brand. It's I think a year and a half old now.
Less than a year. We launched in September last year. Yeah.
September last year. So about a year. Sorry about my calculation. But created a great impact in terms of branding. Can you share about what exactly went through this?
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm quite surprised that you said that, because to me, our marketing is not that strong at all. It's so I have a branding background. I worked in branding for 4 years before I started Cancel Plans. So that was the part that really excited the graphic designer who came up with our logo. And actually, we find out today we are up for an award in branding. So we find out today, fingers crossed. But yeah, so that was kind of, I was used to working with a brand. So that was my lens for the marketing from the visual aspect. And like I myself, I'm a creative person, so I'm interested in the more visual aspect. So like like a photo shoot and the assets and that kind of stuff is really fun for me. So that's been that. And I get to work with my friend who we have a great working relationship with. Her name is Fleur. She's from London. So yeah, I think it's also a brand is a product of collaboration. So that is a way that I like to work, and it informs our aesthetic. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, that's good, because I know I keep talking to quite a lot of people trying to create a good brand for themselves. And today, because of the excess of information out there, in terms of marketing or in terms of money spent. Maybe things will be different after COVID in terms of money spent, but it's always difficult to get the right brand out or the right brand image out. I'm sure you understand in terms of branding. But tell me about your London experience. So you launched the brand in the London Design Festival. How was that? How did that come about?
Honestly, it was a bit of a crazy last minute decision. I had always envisioned that I would do something at the London Design Festival. I used to live in London, so that was something that for me was on my bucket list, that we have to go there. And we were, I think about at that point of time, it was like 7-8 months. We were doing a lot of experiments, nothing was clicking. And then I was like, you know what, I don't think we're ready. Let's go for it next year. Then something suddenly changed. In June, we had a product. So and we had our first prototype. So we didn't even have a product line or anything. And then, I got some advice from a friend that, design is this kind of a medium where you can put stuff out. And then people will iterate. Your customers will tell you what's working, what's not working. So just release it, because if you're going to do these experiments, you can continue doing them for years. You're never going to have a perfect product. So that's something, I guess, similar in tech, how you're just in beta mode all the time. They're just launch it and say you're in beta mode and then see what people say. So then that actually really encouraged me. And then I was like, okay, in July, we decided to go, and September was the show. So we just hustled to get the brand together, to get the products together. And then somehow it just, touch wood, came together for us.
Amazing. I mean, I think a very good advice by your friend, because it's never going to be perfect and ready ever. It's always a next version, a more improved version, of course. And what about Lakme Fashion Week? How was that experience?
That was really good. Actually, we were 1 out of 5 people who were competing for the Circular Design Challenge. And the other people that were kind of competing with me also were doing some really, really cool stuff. It was a great network. It was a great support system. There were 5 of us female founders, which was, I guess, coincidence. But it was a really enriching experience. I learned a lot, especially, I think, with styling and putting together a show, what it was, because that's not something that I was exposed to before. And I actually have a great fear of public speaking. So that was, we had to give a pitch. We had to talk about what we're looking for. And I was a ball of nerves. But I think in the end, it was really in that span of a couple of weeks in preparing for it and doing the show, I learned so much. It was exponential growth.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you have it for life now, that amount of learning.
Yeah, now I have it in my mind that, I did it once, so it's possible I can do it again. So it gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. How different was your brand in terms of sustainability, right? Your efforts are on sustainability. So in Lakme Fashion Week or the London Festival, how different were you compared to the others in the...
So I think sustainability has caught on. I think in London Design Festival, definitely there were a lot of design brands who were with a strong sustainable focus. I think in India, our perception still of sustainable fashion is that, it's organic cotton, it's these khadi, earthy materials. So I think compared to that, we gave a little bit of a shock, because here we made a jacket out of defected condoms, something that nobody had seen before. And that's one of our products that actually everyone is wait, what? So I think in that sense, we have a little bit of a shock value for because we're quite different from the conventional. We're also not doing traditional products. We're not doing saris and ethnic wear. We're doing quite street and a little bit out there kind of stuff. So I think that was probably, I would say, a little different. But other than that, I think there are a lot of really cool creative stuff that's coming up. One of the other contestants, the one who won actually, they make a substitute for leather out of coconut water and coconut fibers. So what they do is they ferment it, and I don't know the exact science behind it, but they make a textile that's something really cool, because she's based in Kerala and there's so many coconuts everywhere, and they can reuse that, and it comes from the earth, goes back into the earth. There's a lot of, I think I think there's a lot of scope for creativity if we just tell people that, sustainable fashion can be anything. It doesn't have to be your cottons and khadis and that kind of stuff.
So what's the way forward for Cancel Plans now in terms of implementation, in terms of awareness on sustainability? Where do you want to steer it?
For me, I think the most exciting thing I want to do next is I want to do a lot of collaborations. I've been in talks with another friend of mine from college. They were furniture and home brand. So we kind of moving into different categories as well, because, we have so much waste and it can have so much use. So I don't want to tie myself down to fashion, even though that's the starting point. And so we want to get into home and decor. I am working with another designer who's doing another collaboration. So I mean, for me, that's the most exciting part, is to like bring other people in and see their ideas, because if this is what I'm able to come up with, then if I share it with someone else, they might be able to come up with 10 other things. So for me, I want to share this waste, and I want to do a lot more collaborations, a lot more partnerships, and see how far we can stretch this waste and use it for replacing conventional materials.
Absolutely.
We were actually set to go to LA Design Festival this year, but COVID changed our plans.
Maybe a virtual design festival is due.
Could be, yeah.
So great. And what about the products? Where can I get the products?
So right now we are currently working on our website. A lot of our stuff is on the website. We are going to relaunch our website once we are through this time. And right now we're doing most of our sales through Instagram, but our website should be ready very, very soon. We don't want to be in stores and stuff. We want to be online mostly. So
interesting. Yeah, that's nice. I think very new brands are actually trying something like what you're saying, not going to a store and concentrate purely on digital. So I think that's a good way forward. And since you mentioned Instagram, I did see a character. I don't know if it's called a character, but I saw Pantulu design. I don't know what's the right way to refer to it. Can you talk about that? It was a very interesting design of a guy who's
Sure. That actually is more kind of like my hobbies that like keeps me sane. I always used to doodle at the back of my notebooks when I was a kid. I think in our education system, you're like forced to take notes, but nobody focuses much on the creative arts that much. So like mostly at the back of my notebooks, I would have like very few notes and a lot of like characters that I used to sketch out. And then I think one day my mom was just like, I have this sari. I remember you used to doodle at the back of your notebook. Why don't you do this on my sari? So that's kind of the birth of how this character came about. And I think my dad was just like, he looks like a Pantulu, which, as you know, is the Telugu word for like a monk or a priest or something like that. So it started off very quirky, and like I just enjoy doing it. Then I kind of went into painting, and then I looked at canvases and things like that. So I kind of expanded that. And coincidentally, it kind of reflects sometimes my mental state where, I was an insomniac.
Okay.
Many years, and I'm still like struggle with sleep. So this is something that I do at night. So it's like my character like constantly has his eyes closed. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of like dreams and thoughts. And so I think that's kind of the concept behind it. But yeah, it's been fun.
How interesting.
And that's actually purely just for myself. So I don't take feedback. I don't do custom things and things like that. It's just kind of my creative outlet for me to do whatever I want. And
not for sale. There's no.
They are for sale. They are for sale because I also don't want to keep them closed like this. So if I put them on Instagram, and if anyone wants it, I'm more than happy to give it away even at this point, or like sell them depending on people's appetite. And I've done a bunch of t-shirts actually, and those have done really well. And yeah, I mean, it's just for fun. So I don't set myself a deadline. I don't say I need to produce this much by this much time. There's no there's no rules behind it. I do it when I want and it makes me feel good.
How nice. I think I must say that I've really enjoyed talking to you, sir, especially on a mutually favorite subject of sustainability. I really wish more and more people talk about sustainability and try to implement whatever bit, I mean, whatever extent they can in terms of living a more sustainable life. I think it is the need of the hour, especially when we hit a crisis like COVID, or any pandemic for that reason. It just puts a lot of important things into perspective than the regular way of life. And you're doing a great job, and I really wish Cancel Plans a very, very good future, and wish you all the best, Malika. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. And I also think that I just wanted to add that like you and like me, I think people who are in sustainability are like dying to share this with the world. So we'll find a way to, I think, include more people. I mean, I think it's a very open community already. People are excited to share stuff and get more people involved. And I do think, honestly, that's the way this is gonna become sustainable, is if it grows and it becomes normalized and people are naturally choosing sustainable choices without actively thinking about it. So I think what you're doing is also awesome to highlight all of this and all the work that you're doing with Atom. It's really great. So thank you for having me. This was super fun.
Thank you so much, Malika.